Well, good morning. Welcome back to Forgotten Dailies. We went another little road trip last night. Picked up another vehicle. This one is another unique and probably rare vehicle. Been wanting to buy one of these for a long time. My original idea was with a different style, but this one I think will turn out to be way cooler. At least in my opinion. I'm sure there'll be a lot out there that won't like what my vision is and what my plan is for this, but that's okay, because like the guy I got it from said, it's yours. Do what you want. So you don't have to please everybody. Not everything has to remain original. There's been so many, cars through the years that have been modified and changed and whatnot. So it's gonna be all right. Driving home last night, my buddy went with me. This vehicle was about 45 minutes away, so it wasn't terribly far. But my buddy went with me, and we was talking about it, and he sees my vision, and he knows what I want to do with this. But then looking in the mirror as we're driving, it's like, man, I don't know, man. I kind of like the way it looks, even the way it is. Well, hello there, Mama Cat. Watch out, Mama. Mama Cat wants to say hi. Good morning. So anyways, I kind of dig the way that it looks, in the mirror. And, well, let's just get into what this thing is. By now, you should know. This is a Dodge Dakota. It's a 1989, pardon the loud car there. 1989 Dakota Sport. So the sport trim, from my understanding, was it came with the blacked out grille, I think the blacked out bumpers, and fog lights. The fog lights are in the truck. They're just not mounted, but they did come with it. I believe it came with the fender flares, and of course the decals and stuff that run down the side. It has the rear fender flares. This truck would have had different rims. The gentleman offered me a trade on the rims because he wanted, or a trade for the original rims. He had the original rims that he would have traded me the hard tonneau cover off this truck for, but I like the looks of these. We'll get back to that in a minute. Black rear bumper. You see it's got a hard tonneau cover that raises up. And yeah, there's just stuff in the bed. Some Dodge hubcaps or something. I don't even know what those are for. So, unfortunately, this truck came with no keys. And we have the old Dare bumper stickers. If anybody remembers those. I don't remember what years those were from. Looks like 9 of 91. So this truck would have been 2 years old when that bumper sticker was put on. It's got a little bit of cancer. This rocker panel is probably or cab corner is probably the worst. And then this rocker's got some here. Luckily, these are just Dakotas. So I think you could actually buy, the rocker panel new still today. And then we got this door. This door is pretty mangled all the way down to about here. But I don't know what we're going to do on the door. It did flex it. It does open, but it's very difficult to open. My assumption is that the door was open and they backed up and caught something. So it's a V6 truck, 3.9 liter. The 4-cylinder and the V6 was the only two engine options in 1989, unless you went with the Shelby Dakota, which this is not a Shelby Dakota. But does not run currently. He said it did run when he first got it. He hadn't had it very long. And this guy had two others, another one identical to this, and then a white one of these. And then he also has a red Shelby Dakota. So I've known him. So I believe him when he said it did run. He drove it around his yard. He never drove it on the road. But the fuel pump is out, and then there's no alternator. The alternator's easy. Fuel pump, I looked online. It's like $15 plus shipping for, a cheap one just to get it moving. Plan this year, for now, since we're already almost into November, is to get it so it can move on its own power. It doesn't have to be driving, but at least get it to where it's moving so that I can move it around the yard. There's going to be, my stepson has a storage unit where he puts a Shelby, his Shelby Daytona, and he's in the process of buying a house. So here in the next couple of weeks, he should be closing on that. And then his Shelby Daytona is going to move over to there. So his storage unit is going to become empty. That's where this is going to go until spring. And then we'll figure it out from there. What makes this truck so rare? It's not that it's a Dakota. It's not that it's a Dakota Sport. It's not that, it has power windows and locks and power mirror. I think, no, they're manual mirrors. I thought they were power. Any of that, none of that makes it rare or, unless outside of this community of people that like these, not even desirable. Sport package also came with the leather wrap steering wheel and the bench seat with the center armrest. But this truck is unique and rare because of that right there. This is a factory Dakota convertible that definitely needs some love. So you can see the top is not even a top anymore. It's not doing top things. So last night on the way home, my buddy's like, oh, your top's flopping around. So we had to stop. I'll go around the other side, show you. We stopped to fill up the truck anyways, and he was doing this repair while we were getting gas. You see the zip ties, because what was happening was this top was just flopping in the air, and I didn't want a piece to fly off and hit a car behind us or whatever. So that that was done just to get it home. You can still get new tops for these, believe it or not. It's about $350. And then, of course, you have to find somebody to install it. The biggest issue with this particular truck is this nice floor mat, because this window glass is broken. So, if you notice on the doors, they got this, I'll call it a wing window, even though it's not a wing window, but this extra piece of glass here, because they shortened the door glass, because when they cut the frame, we was looking at them last night, the original door glass would have ended right about here, because there was a pillar here that the window went into. Well, when they cut this section out, they had to move the glass back. And I don't know, rather than making one big piece, I guess it was cheaper probably to make, this setup. But a regular Dakota window will not work because it only comes back to here. So you'll have this 2-3 inch gap. So I joined one of the Facebook groups dedicated to these trucks. And everybody's saying that good luck finding the glass. That's like finding gold. Great. That'll be fun. So we already started searching. We're going to continue searching until either we find one or we find a suitable replacement of something. This truck's not going to be a show truck. This truck is going to be a cruiser. One that I can get in and drive to work, or, if we want to go to a cruise, we can take this. It's an automatic. The clutch pedal isn't, an issue anymore. And I'm hoping that my wife likes this convertible. I think it's cool as hell. Get out. And I can guarantee you there won't be another one there. There's the fog lights there. The other door panel, passenger door panels here. The biggest thing is, like I said, the door glass. Trying to find it. Nothing in the glove box. They got a cup holder here, which, other than the Dakota being on it, it's almost the same as what LeBaron has. Ashtray. It's got a license plate cover, bulb cover on it. But yeah, nothing too spectacular, about them inside. This is a non-cruise control truck, which is fine. Oh yeah, and then we have the universal ignition. Somebody busted out the ignition in it, so we're gonna have to replace the steering column, which again, it's not the end of the world. Nothing behind the rear seat, just some storage. The jack should be underneath there and whatnot. Chrysler was cool. I don't know if Chrysler did it or the company that built these did it. I think it's American something, but anyway, put a roll bar in, so when the top is down, there's a big loop that's visible, and the top, when it's folded, comes to about here once it's all laid down. But let's get under the hood, show you what we got. Oh man, this hood is heavy. Pardon me while I get the rod put up, but yep, just your standard V6 3.9. It is throttle body injected, which is kind of nice. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I see here the brake booster check valve has decided to leave the chat, so we're gonna have to modify something there. Some vacuum lines missing or unhooked down here on the EGR valve. We don't care about none of that. We don't care about emissions per se. I did take this lid off last night, just real quick. It must have a clip on it still somewhere, but we'll get into this. So there's your throttle body. Distributor, it's got a plug wire missing, like not even here, nowhere to be found. We'll have to get a plug wire for it. Plan today is to get it off the trailer, and if we can get it to run by jerry rigging a fuel pump in a can like we did the Neon, then cool. I think my buddy that went with me last night is going to come over sometime today, and we're going to tinker with it a little bit. But I really love these rims, so this is probably what's going to make the purists disappointed in me if I follow through with what I want to follow through. I want to make a rat rod. My parents have got a 33 Chevy that my dad built when I was in high school, and unfortunately cars like that are extremely expensive and whatnot, and I don't have the fabrication skills that my dad has. So I have a vision in my head, and the vision is take the front fenders completely off, take the inner fenders off, take this whole assembly off, and basically put a small block in it, small block Chrysler. No, we will never LS swap a car here. We are a Mopar, and we are not going to go that route. This will get a 318 or a 360 because we're not after power. It's not going to be a race car. It's not going to be, running the streets stalking for other cars. It's not what my vision is. Hood, of course, will be gone. So basically you will have an open engine bay. We're going to have to come up with a radiator and a grill, like off of a Model A or, something that style. And then, of course, we'll have to have headlights and turn signals on the front, too. The other part of my vision is eliminate the bed sides. Utilize the bed floor from the wheel wells. Let me see if I can get this. So, utilize the bed floor from the wheel well over to wheel well, and eliminate the wheel wells and the outer bed, and just use this floor, because I want it to not look like a modern truck. I want it to look as rat roddy as possible. Then, ever since I was a little boy, I've always gone to car shows and rod shows and whatnot. We used to go to the Rebel Run, which was at the time in Indiana, and I was just flabbergasted and fell in love with the flamethrowers. the true old school flamethrowers, not these new ones where they put a propane bottle on it. I'm talking about the ones where they would choke the carburetor and they would shoot flames, you know, out the tailpipes. Many years ago, we was there, and a guy had a Model A pickup, and he had stacks running up here, and he was shooting flames out the stacks. That has stuck in my mind for probably 30 years, that I've always had a vision of doing just that. The problem is, this is a convertible. Remember I said the top will come about to about here. Well, fortunately, the guy we got this from had the other black one, and we laid his top down, and we think there's enough room to run a set of stacks right about here that it'll clear, because the top kind of comes in at an angle that'll clear right about here, be able to run up. We'll get to that later once we get that far. Driving home last night, like I said earlier, I was looking at this thing in the mirror, and I'm like, man, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I just want to get it running. I want to get it driving and enjoy it the way it is. But that's not the vision I have. That's not the thought I have in my head. And this project, either way, really won't cost a ton of money. The biggest expense is going to be the top. That's about $350. I've never done one. I mean, I could take it somewhere and have them do it. That's probably another $800 for the labor. So I'd probably have $1,100 just in getting the convertible top fixed. But I do want it to have a nice convertible top. When I'm driving it, the top will be down unless it's raining. Even if it's chilly like this morning, the top's going to be down because you have a heater. And I just absolutely love a convertible. I got my LeBaron, grew up in a convertible, just love a convertible. So, well, what do you think? What should I do? What would you do if this was yours? Would you leave it? Maybe try to find a door, patch the rocker, patch the cab corner. The problem of finding a door is you're not going to find this exact door. You'd have to have a black Dakota Sport door, and maybe even a fender, because it got part of the fender here too. You're going to have a black Dakota Sport door in order for it to match right. Now, you can paint it, but it won't look right because, you know, this is original paint, and new paint's going to be, you know, different, shinier and whatnot. But I don't know. That's one of the things my buddy that went with me last night, we're going to talk about this particular door. If it's a rat rod and I leave it the way it is and we sand, you know, all these decals off the door and the cab and just primer it or something, who cares? Who cares what it looks like? Maybe try to pull it out some and try to fix it so the door opens easier. It does open, but it is sprung. You can definitely tell it is sprung. So I don't know. We're gonna mess with it. We're gonna see. But for now, probably since it's almost November already and it's going to start snowing or getting cold at least here soon, it's probably just going to, like I said, try to get it so it runs and moves under its own power, and then it's going to go in storage until the weather breaks. Because I have other things that I got to get done first. One is the ACR is either going to get sold or parted. I got it up for sale. $1,500. It's a good project. The Omni's for sale, and $2,500. It comes with rust-free rockers, comes with decent floors, and rust-free doors. That it just needs, you know, done. The 90 Daytona, it's for sale for $800. It's a moving, I won't say driving, but moving project car, or a nice 99% rust-free shell. But after we're done with the 02 Volkswagen, the oddball car that we picked up just because I wanted to try something new, after it's done, That one is going in the garage because it's been here for over a year, and it needs to go because the Omni is going to go back here for the winter. Unfortunately, that has to sit outside. 86 white Turbo Z is still in here. Haven't touched it. Haven't been able to. Just haven't had time. We still got the 85 Turbo Z in here. I got the starter partially out. If you've never changed a turbo starter, a starter on a turbo car, they're a nightmare. So I was underneath it the other day and got flustered and went on to move something else. I've learned through the years, if you get flustered with something, go do something else. Come back to it later. It's not killing anything sitting in there. So it can be there for another month if it has to be. And then the Volkswagen is on the other side of the bay. We don't care about that car. We're just going to strip it and get it gone. The 99 blue neon is gone. We hauled it the other day. That's where the hood for that from that car is for this car if somebody decides to buy this car and save it. And then the seats are in the garage. So back to the Dakota. So if you've watched any of our previous videos, you know we parted out a 91 Shadow convertible. I was smart enough to keep the glass. What are the chances that glass is close enough to the glass that we're missing in this Dakota? That's another thing we're going to find out. Get this thing out of the way. He had that in there to try to keep some of the rain out, which I appreciate that. Who knows? But darn it, we're going to give it a shot. Because even if it's close, that's better than nothing. So we're going to mess with that and see what we can come up with. Even if we can get it mounted in there and I have to put some tape along the sides for the winter, so be it. You know, again, if it's not going to be up on the road until the spring, that gives me more time to find the proper glass if this doesn't work. I doubt it does. I'm sure if it did, somebody's probably already discovered that by now. But we're going to give it a shot. So anyway, we're going to get working on this thing. I got to get it off the trailer. I got a buddy coming picking up the trailer this afternoon. He's got to haul his car somewhere and get some work done to it. So he's going to borrow the trailer. And we're going to mess with this thing. And I'm not going to conclude this video yet. I'm going to go ahead and see if we can get this thing to run. And add that to the end of this. So stay tuned. We'll be back. All right, so I took the battery out because it was old and I guarantee it was no good. I put a good battery in there and we got things clicking, things buzzing, and all that good stuff. We're gonna see. We have buzzers in here, even though the universal key is not in here. We're going to see if it'll even crank. This is going to be fun. I turn the key off. Well, it cranks. So that's a good sign. I guess we don't need the universal key. We got it right here. It's called a thumb. Just reach in here and turn the switch. So I think my buddy's going to bring me over the missing plug wire and we're going to shoot some fuel down and see what happens. All right, so my buddy's here. We're going to see if we can get this bad boy to fire up. If I can get my thumb. You ready? Hang on. My thumb isn't operating things the way it's supposed to. What the freak? Now we are missing the plug wire too, so we only got 5 cylinders. Got a fire. Is it out? That's always fun. Trying to burn it while it's on my truck. Man, this is hard on the thumb. guy should really invest in a... Oh, we lost battery. Got it. Well, it is wanting to fire. Let me concentrate on something here on this. What's wrong? All right, so as you can see, the Dakota is off the trailer. The bed's still full of junk. I haven't cleaned it up at all yet. I haven't touched it, but it does start. It drove itself off the trailer, so that's a bonus. See if we can get to start again. Now, mind you, there's only 7 plugs because one plug wire is completely missing, but it runs. I'm gonna get it back off. So that's a bonus. It's a win-win-win. I'm very excited for that. The tach wasn't working. Fuel gauge shows empty. We put a little bit of gas in it, so I don't know if it's working or not. We're missing a sun visor on the passenger side. Driver's side sun visor's trashed. The top, we've looked at it. We're going to figure out how to replace that ourselves, I believe. We came up with a possible solution, even if just temporary, for the window glass. We got to go hit the U-Pull-It and see what we can come up with. But radio does work, even though the cassette's not going to work. But anyways, this is a future project truck. The wipers aren't working because the switch, I just turned this knob and it was on, so they weren't working. So who knows? You know, there's some other issues that we need to figure out. But it runs. It moved on its own. There are 0 brakes. The master cylinder is completely empty, so obviously it's needing brake lines. You know. But my main goal today was to get it, first of all, off the trailer, because a buddy's using the trailer, as I said, and get it running. So now that we know it does run, here in a couple of weeks, it's going to go in storage, and it'll probably be there for the winter. And then once the weather breaks in the spring, we'll get it back out and fix the brake lines and whatever else we can do to at least try to get it back on the road for now. And then I'll decide later what we're going to do with this thing. It needs a little floor work, but it looked like it was only on the driver's side. That's pretty simple on this, believe it or not, because it's not really like anything special. So we're going to just put some patches in it and call it a day. So cosmetically, yeah, it could be worse, it could be better, but I'm happy. I'm very happy with this thing. This is the most excited I've been on a vehicle in a while. So like, follow, subscribe. I appreciate you dragging along on this one, and yeah, keep your eyes open for what may come up on this truck in the future. I appreciate you watching, and again, I hope you have a great and wonderful day. Catch you on the next one.